Lesson number 31, Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 229 to 233. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي رب زدني علما اللهم فقهنا في الدين اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم لك الحمد كما هديتنا للإسلام وعلمتنا الحكمة والقرآن وصلوات الله وسلامه على خاتم النبيين وإمام المرسلين وعلى آله الطيبين اللهم اجعلنا ممن اتبع القرآن فساقه وقاده إلى الجنة ولا تجعلنا ممن اتبع القرآن فزخ في خفاه إلى النار برحمتك يا عزيز يا غفار. How are you all? I hope you are doing well. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps you all in His protection, safe from every evil and persecution. May He shower khair and barakah in your lives. May He enable us to learn, understand and act on the Quran with its translation and tafseer. May He grant us the best understanding of the Quran and enable us to convey it to others. May He make this Quran the provider of peace, happiness and ease in our lives. Amen. Today's lesson, our lesson number 31 today is from verse 229 to 233. We will start with word-to-word translation and after that the words will be explained according to the grammar and then inshallah there will be tafseer. Let's listen to the word-to-word translation from ayah number 229. At-talaqu, the divorce, marratan is twice, 2 times. Fa-imsakun, then holding or retaining, bima'rufin, in or with manner, way, recognized, approved, known, aw or tasrihum, releasing, letting go, bi-ihsan, with ihsan, utmost good benevolence, wa and la not, yahillu is lawful, lakum, for you all, and that ta'khudhu, you all take, mimma, from whatever, ataytumuhunna, you all gave them, women, shay'an, anything, illa, except, and that, yakhafa, they too will fear, Allah, that not, yuqima, they too will establish or maintain, hudud, limits or boundaries, Allah, of Allah. Fa'in, so if, khiftum, you all feared, Allah, that not, yuqima, they too or will establish, maintain, hududa, limits or boundaries, Allahi, of Allah. Fala, then not, junaha, any harm or sin, alayhima, is upon them too. Fima, in what, iftadat, she gave fidya, or ransom, compensation, bihi, with it. Tilka, that those, hudud, are limits, Allah, of Allah. Fala, so do not, ta'taduha, you all transgress or exceed it. Wa, and man, whoever, yata'adda, he transgresses or exceeds, hudud, limits or boundaries, Allah, of Allah. Fa'ulaika, so those whom they only, az-zalimun, those who do wrong are unjust. Fa'in, so if, طلقها, he divorced her 3rd time, fala, then not, tahillu, she is, will be lawful, lahu, for him, mim, from, ba'du, after of that, hatta, until, tankiha, she marries, zawjan, a spouse, her husband, ghayrah, other than of him. Fa'in, then if, طلقها, he divorced her, fala, so not, junaha, any sin, alayhima, is upon them too. And that, yataraja'a, they too return to each other, reconcile, in, if, dhanna, they too thought, and that, yuqima, they too will establish, maintain, hudud, limits or boundaries, Allah, of Allah. Wa, and tilka, that those, Hududu are limits, boundaries, Allah of Allah. Yubayyinuha, he explains explicitly, clearly, it or her. Liqawmin, for a nation or people. Ya'lamun, they know. Wa and idha, when طلقتم, you all divorced. An-nisaa, the women. فبلغنا, then the women reached. أجلهن, their awaited term. فأمسكوهن, then you all hold or retain them. بمعروف, with or in a manner or way that is approved, recognized or known. أو or سرحوهن, you all let go, release or dismiss them. بمعروف, in with a manner or way recognized, approved, accepted. Wa and la, do not. Tumsikuhunna, you all hold, retain them, women. Diraran, to hurt, harm. Lita'tadu, so that you all transgress. Wa and man, whoever. Yaf'al, he does. Dhalika, that. Faqad, then in fact. Zalama, he did wrong, injustice. Nafsah, to him or his self or soul. Wa and la, do not. Tattakhidhu, you all make or take. Ayat, signs or verses. Allah, of Allah. Huzwa, a mockery, ridicule. Wa and udhkuru, you all remember or mention. Ni'mata, blessing or favor. Allahi, of Allah. Alaykum, upon you all. Wa and ma, whatever. Anzala, he sent down or revealed. Alaykum, upon you all. Min, from. Al-kitab, the book. Wa and al-hikmah, the hikmah or the wisdom. Ya'idhukum, he admonishes, instructs you all. Bih, with it. Wa and ittaqu, you all safeguard, adopt. Taqwa, be conscious of. Allah, Allah. Wa and i'lamu, you all know. Anna, indeed. Allah, Allah, bikulli, with all or every. Shay'in, of things. Alim, is always all knower. Wa and idha, when. Tallaqtum, you all divorced. An-nisaa, the women. فبلغنا, so they reached. أجلهن, their appointed term. Fala, then do not. Ta'aduluhunna, they all stop or hinder them. And that. Yankihna, they females marry. Azwajahunna, their spouses, husbands. Idha, when. Taradaw, they mutually approved or agreed. Bainahum, between them. Bil ma'ruf, in or with the manner or way approved, recognized. Dhalika, that. Yu'adhu, he or is admonished, instructed. Bihi, with it. Man, whoever. Kana, he was. Minkum, from among you all. Yu'minu, he believes. Billahi, in or with Allah. Wa and al-yawm, the day. Al-akhir, the last. Dhalikum, that you all. Aska, is purest. Lakum, for you all. Wa and athhar, is cleanest. Wa and Allahu, Allah. Ya'lamu, he knows. Wa and antum, you all. La, do not. Ta'lamun, you all know. Wa and al-walidatu, those who give birth, mothers. Yurdi'na, they will suckle, nurse, breastfeed. Awladahun, their children. Hawlaini, 2 years. Kamilaini, to complete. Liman, for whom. Arada, he wanted. And that. Yutimma, he completes. Ar-rada'a, the suckling period. Wa and ala, is upon or on. Al-mawludi, the one who begot the child, father. Lahu, for him. Rizquhunna, their women's rizq, provision of sustenance. Wa and kiswatuhunna, their women's clothing. Bil ma'ruf, in or with a manner or way approved, recognized. La, not. Tukallafu, it, she, is, will be burdened. Nafsun, any soul. Illa, except. Wus'aha, it's her capacity. La, neither. Tudarra, she is, will be harmed. Walidatun, mother. Biwaladiha, because of her child. Wa and la, nor. Mauludun, the one who begot the child, father. lahu for him, biwaladihi because of his child, wa and ala is upon al-warithi the heir, mithlu like similar, dhalik of that. فَإِن then if arada they too wanted or intended fisalan weaning, and from or by taradim mutual agreement, minhuma from them too, wa and tashawurin mutual consultation, fala then not, junaha any sin, harm or blame, alayhima is upon them too, wa and in if aradtum you all wanted, intended, and that tastardi'u you seek suckling, wet nurse, foster mother, awladakum your children, fala then not, junaha any sign, harm or blame, alaykum is upon you all, idha when sallamtum you all paid or submitted, ma whatever, ataytum you all gave, bil ma'ruf in or with the manner or way approved, recognized, wa and ittaqu you all safeguard, adopt taqwa, be conscious of Allah, wa and i'lamu you all know, anna that Allah bima with whatever, ta'amaluna you all do deeds, basir is always all seeing. Grammatical analysis. Now let's understand these words according to grammar. At-talaqu, the divorce, revocable. Root word is ta, lam, qaf. It is ism ma'rifa, proper noun since it's starting with al. Marratan is twice, 2 times. It is tasniya, dual. Root word is mim, ra. Its singular is marratun with a round ta. Fa imsakun, then holding, retaining. The root word is mim, sin, kaf. Fa in the beginning is harf ataf, conjunction, and from amsaka yumsiku the verbal noun masdar is imsakun, which means to retain, to hold, that is to not let a pre-existing thing get out of hand. Bima'arufin, with in a manner where recognized, approved or known. Root word is ain, ra, fa. Be in the start is harf jar, preposition. Ma'rufin is majroor, genitive noun. From verbal noun masdar irfanun, it is ism maf'ul, wahid muzakkar, masculine singular object noun. Aw tasrihun, aw is or, releasing, letting go. Aw is harf atf, conjunction. Tasrihun, root word is seen, raha. Literal meaning of saraha is to leave the cattle to graze. It is a masdar, verbal noun from saraha yusarrihun. Sarraha yusarrihun. Sarraha is to leave the cattle to graze. It is a masdar verbal noun from sarraha yusarrihu. Bi ihsanin, with ihsan, at most good benevolence. The root word is ha, sin, noon. Bi is harf jar, preposition. Ihsanin is majroor, genitive noun. Wala yahillu, and not it is lawful. Root word is ha, lam. It is fa'il mudari, wahid mudhakkar ghaib, third person masculine singular present tense, since it starts with the ya from yatan. From halla yahillu, the verbal noun masdar is hillun, that is to be lawful, to be halal. Lakum, for you all. La is harf jar, preposition. Kum is dhamir of jama muzakkar hadar, second person masculine plural pronoun. And ta'khudhu, that you all take. An is masdariya nasiba, accusative subordinating conjunction. It makes the phrase following it nasab, yani accusative case, conjunctive in case of verbs. Ta'khudhu, root word is hamza, kha, dal. It was actually ta'khudhuna, but due to an, the noon i'rabi, noon with the vowel mark fatha has been dropped. It is fa'il mudari mansoob jama muzakkar hadar, second person masculine plural present tense in subjunctive case. From akhadha ya'khudhu, the verbal noun masdar is akhdhan, which means to take. Mimma, from whatever. It is made of min and ma. Min is harf jar, preposition, and ma is ism mausul, relative pronoun. Ataytumuhun, you all gave them women. Root word is hamza ta ya. It is made of ataytum and waw sakin and hunna in the end. Ataytum is fail madi, jama muzakkar hadar, second person, masculine plural, past tense. From a'ta yu'ti, the verbal noun masdar is ita'un, which means to give. Wa is of shubba, assumption, and hunna is the dhamir of muannas ghaib, third person, feminine pronoun. Shay'an, anything. The root word is sheen, ya, hamza. Shay'an is everything that can be known and reported. Illa, except. It is kalima istasna, exceptive particle. Ain yakhafa, that they too will fear. An is masdariya nasiba, subordinating conjunction. Kha, waw, fa is the root word for yakhafa. It was actually yakhafani. The noon tasniya, noon of duality, fell due to an. It is fail mudare, mansoob tasniya, muzakkar ghaib, third person masculine, dual present tense in subjunctive case. From khafa yakhafu, the verbal noun masdar is khawfan, that is to fear. Allah yuqima, that not they too will establish, maintain. Allah is made of an and la. An is masdariya nasiba, subordinating conjunction. La is nafiya, negative particle. Qaf, waw, mim is the root word for yuqima. It was actually yuqimani. The noon of duality, noon tasniya, fell because of an. It is fail mudare, manfi tasniya mudhakkar ghaib, third person masculine, dual, negative present tense in subjunctive case. From aqama yuqimu, the verbal noun masdar is iqamatun, that is to maintain. Hudud Allah, the limits or boundaries of Allah. The root word is ha dal dal. It is murakkabe idafi, possessive phrase. Singular of hudud is had. Hudud is mudaf, what is possessed. Allahi is mudaf ilay, possessor. Fa in, so if. Fa is harf atf, conjunction. In is shartiya, conditional particle. Khiftum, you all feared. Root word is kha, waw, fa. It is fa'il madi, jama muzakkar hadar, second person masculine, plural, past tense. Allah, that not, is made of an and la. An is masdariya nasiba, subordinating conjunction. La is nafiya, negative particle. Yuqima, they too will establish or maintain. Hudud Allah, the limits or the boundaries of Allah. We have covered this previously. Fala junaha, then not any harm or sin. Junaha means to lean to one side. Root word is jim, noon, ha. Alayhima is upon them too. It is made up of ala and hima. Ala is harf jar, preposition, and hima is dhamir of tasniya muzakkar ghaib, third person masculine, dual pronoun. It is majroor, genitive pronoun. Fi ma, in what. Fi is harf jar, preposition. Ma is ism mawsool, relative pronoun. Iftadat bih, she gave fidya, ransom, compensation with it. The root word is fa dahliya. It is fail madi, wahid muannas ghaib, third person feminine, singular, past tense. From iftada yaftadi, the verbal noun masdar is iftidaun, which means to give fidya, ransom, compensation. Be is harf jar, preposition. He is dhamir, pronoun. Tilka, that or those. It is ism ishara, wahid muannas ba'id, feminine, singular, fa, demonstrative noun. Hududullah are the limits of Allah. Fala ta'taduha, so do not you all transgress, exceed it or her them. Root words is ain, dal, waw. It is fa'il mudari, jama muzakkar hadar, second person masculine, plural, present tense. From i'tada, i'tadu, the verbal noun masdar is i'tida'un, that is to exceed or to transgress. Her in the end is dhamir, pronoun. وَمَنْ يَتَعَدَّ, and whoever he transgresses or exceeds. Man is ism mawsool shartiya, conditional relative pronoun. Yata'adda is fail mudari, wahid mudhakkar ghaib, third person masculine, singular, present tense. From ta'adda yata'adda, the verbal noun masdar is ta'a'idun, ta'addiyun, that is to exceed or to transgress. Hudud Allah is the limits or boundaries of Allah. فَأُولَٰئِكَ, so those. Fa is harf atf, conjunction. Ulaika is ism ishara, jama muzakkar ba'id, masculine plural, fa demonstrative noun. Humuz zalimun, they only are those who do wrong or unjust. Hum is dhamir, pronoun, root word is dha, lam, mim. From verbal noun masdar zulman, it is ism fa'il, jama muzakkar, masculine plural doer. Its singular is zalimun. فَإِن طَلَّقَهَا, so if he divorced her the third time, fa. In was covered previously in the lesson today. Any repeating words will be explained only once. Tallaqa is fi'l madi, wahid, muzakkar ghaib, third person masculine, singular, past tense. From tallaqa yutalliqu, the verbal noun masdar is tatliqun, that is to divorce. Because of in, the meaning is he divorced. Here it means to divorce the third time. فَلَا تَحِلُّ لَهُ, then not she or is will be lawful for him. تَحِلُّ is فعل مضارع واحد مؤنث غائب, third person feminine, singular, present tense. In verse 229 we had يَحِلُّ, that is lawful, halal, or to undo a knot. It was فعل مضارع واحد مذكر غائب, third person masculine, singular, present tense. But there we have تَحِلُّ starting with a ta, it is for muannas feminine. Lahu, for him. La is harf jar, preposition, and hu is majroor, genitive noun, and dhamir of wahid mudhakkar ghaib, third person masculine, singular, pronoun. Min ba'du, from after of that. Min is harf jar, preposition, ba'du is majroor, genitive noun. Hatta, until, it is harf ghair nasiba, preposition of time. Tankiha, she marries. Noon kha ha is the root word. It is fail mudare wahid muannas ghaib, third person feminine, singular, present tense. From nakaha yankihu, the verbal noun masdar is nikahan, that is to marry, do nikah. It is feminine due to the ta in the beginning. Yankihu means he marries, and tankihu means she marries. Tankih. Zawjan, a spouse, husband. Root word is za, waw, jim. Zawj is used for both spouses, both husband and wife. Ghayrahu, other than of him, other than of him. Ghain, ya, ra is the root word. Ghayra is mudaf, what is possessed, and hu is dhamir, pronoun. فَإِن طَلَّقَهَا, then if he divorced her, this is covered previously. فَلَا جُنَاحَ, so not any sin. عَلَيْهِمَا is upon them too. أَن يَتَرَاجَعَا, that they two return to each other, reconcile. يَتَرَاجَعَا is tasniya, dual. Root word is ra, jim, ain. It was actually يَتَرَاجَعَانِ. Because of an, noon tasniya, noon of duality, was dropped. It is فعل مضارع منصوب تسنية مذكر غائب, third person masculine, dual, present tense in subjunctive case. From taraja yataraja'u, the verbal noun masdar is taraju'an, that is to return or to reconcile. In dhanna, if they too thought. Root word is dha, noon. It is فعل ماضي tasniya muzakkar ghaib, third person masculine, dual, past tense. From dhanna yadhunnu, the verbal noun masdar is dhannun, that is to think, to believe. Because of in, the meaning is if they both thought. An yuqima, that they too will establish or maintain. An is masdariya nasiba, subordinating conjunction. It makes the fi'l mudare following its subjunctive. Root word is qaf, waw, mim. It was actually yuqimani due to an, the noon tasniya, noon of duality, was dropped. And ni in the end signifies tasniya. It is fail mudare tasniya muzakkar muannas ghaib, third person masculine, feminine, dual, present tense. From aqama yuqimu, the verbal noun masdar is iqamatun, that is to establish. Hududullah, limits, boundaries of Allah. وَتِلْكَ and that, those. Hududullah are limits or boundaries of Allah. يُبَيِّنُهَا he explains it or her explicitly, clearly. The root word is ba, ya, nun. يبين is فعل مضارع واحد مذكر غائب, third person masculine singular present tense. From بين يبين, the verbal noun masdar is تبيين, that is to explain clearly. تبين, to explain clearly. Ha in the end is dhamir or wahid muannas ghaib, third person feminine singular pronoun. لقوم for a nation or people. Li is harf jar preposition. Qawmin is majroor and ism nakira genitive common noun since there is tanween on the last letter. Ya'lamun they know. Root word is ayn, lam, mim. It is fi'l mudari, jama muzakkar ghaib, third person masculine plural present tense. From alima ya'lamu, the verbal noun or masdar is ilman, that is to know. Wa idha and when, it is harf dhaman mustaqbil bamane shart, conditional future time adverb. طلقتم you all divorced. Ta, lam, qaf is the root word. An-nisaa the women. The root word is noon, seen, waw. Its singular is imra'atun, that is woman. فَبَلَغْنَا then they, the women, reached. Root word is ba, lam, ghain. Fa is harf atf conjunction. بلغنا is فعل ماضي جمع مؤنث غائب, third person feminine plural past tense. From balagha yuballighu, the verbal noun masdar is bulughan, that is to reach a specific time. Ajalahunna their awaited term. Root word is hamza, jim, lam. Ajala is mudaf, what is possessed. Hunna is dhamir of jama muannas ghaib, third person feminine plural pronoun. فَأَمْسِكُوهُنَّ the you all hold, retain them. Root word is mim, seen, kaf. Fa is harf atf conjunction. Amsiku is fi'l amr jama mudhakkar hadar, second person masculine plural imperative verb. From amsaka yumsiku, the verbal noun masdar is imsakun, that is to retain, to hold. Hunna in the end is dhamir pronoun. Imsakun is on the pattern of Bab-e-If'aal. Our Arabic grammar lesson today is lesson number 34, verbal groupings of Bab-e-If'aal. The basic awzan of fi'l madi, past tense, and fi'l mudari, present tense of Bab-e-If'aal are af'alu and yuf'ilu. Link is given in the description box. Do watch it. Be ma'rufin, with or in a manner, way, approved, recognized, known. Aw sarrihuhun, or you all let go, release, dismiss them. The root word is seen, raha. Sarrihu is fi'l amr, jama muzakkar hadar, second person masculine plural imperative verb. From sarraha yusarrihu, the masdar verbal noun is tasrihan, that is to release, to dismiss. Hunna is dhamir or pronoun for third person feminine. Be ma'rufin, with or in way, manner, recognized, approved, accepted. Wa and harf atf. La tumsikuhunna, do not you all hold or retain them, women. Root word is mim, seen, kaf. La tumsiku is fi'l nahi, jama muzakkar hadar, second person masculine plural prohibitive verb. From amsaka yumsiku, the verbal noun is imsakun, which means to retain, to hold back. Hunna is dhamir or pronoun, third person pronoun for feminine. Plural pronoun for feminine. In the beginning of this verse 231, we had فَأَمْسِكُوهُنَّ, you all retain them. There it amsiku was fi'l amr, jama muzakkar hadar, second person masculine plural imperative verb. Dirarar is to hurt or harm. The root words is dad, ra. It is a masdar verbal noun. لِتَعْتَدُوا, so that you all transgress. Li is lam, ta'lil, nasiba, prefixed particle of purpose lam. ta'tadu was actually ta'taduna due to lam ta'lil particle of purpose. Lam, the noon, Arabi noon with the vowel mark was dropped. It is fi'l mudari mansoob jama muzakkar hadar, second person masculine plural present tense in subjunctive case. From i'tada ya'tadi, the verbal noun masdar is i'tidaun, that is to transgress. وَمَن يَفْعَلْ, and whoever he does. Root word is fa ain lam. It is فعل مضارع مجزوم واحد مذكر غائب third person masculine singular present tense in injunctive case. From فعل يفعل, the masdar verbal noun is فعل, that is to do. ذلك, that, it is اسم إشارة واحد مذكر بعيد masculine singular for demonstrative noun. فقد, then, in fact. fa is حرف عطف conjunction and قد is كلمة تحقيق particle of certainty. It means in fact or indeed. ظلم نفسه, he did wrong, injustice to himself, his soul. ظلم is فعل ماضي واحد مذكر غائب third person masculine singular past tense. From ظلم يظلم, the verbal noun masdar is ظلما, that is to do injustice. Nafsa is mudaf, what is possessed, and who is dhamir pronoun, singular third person. Wa and la tattakhidhu, do not you all make or take. Root word is hamza kha dal. It is fi'l mudari jama muzakkar hadar second person masculine plural present tense. From ittakhadha yattakhidhu, the verbal noun masdar is ittikhadan, that is to take or to make. Ayatillah, ayat is signs, verses of Allah. The root word is hamza ya. Ayat is mudaf, what is possessed, and its singular is ayatun, and Allahi is mudaf ilay, possessor. Huzuwan, a mockery or ridicule. Root word is ha zal hamza. It is a masdar verbal noun. Wadhkuru, and you all remember or mention. Wa is harf atf conjunction. Udhkuru is fi'l amr jama muzakkar hadar second person masculine plural imperative verb. From dhakara yadhkuru, the verbal noun masdar is dhikran, which means to remember. Ni'mat Allah, blessings or favors of Allah. Ni'mat is mudaf, what is possessed, and Allahi is mudaf ilay, the possessor. Alaykum, upon you all. Ala is harf jar preposition. Kum is dhamir pronoun. Wama, and whatever. Ma is isma mausul relative pronoun. Anzala alaykum, he sent down or revealed upon you all. Anzala is fi'l madi wahid muzakkar ghaib third person masculine singular past tense. From anzala yunzilu, the verbal noun masdar is inzalan, which means to send down or to reveal. Min al-kitabi, from the book. The root word is kaf ta ba. It is ism ma'rifa, proper noun. Wal hikmata, and the hikmah, wisdom. It is also ism ma'rifa, proper noun, since it's beginning with al. Ya'idhukum bih, he admonishes, instructs you all with it. The root word is waw ain za. Ya'idhu is fi'l mudari wahid muzakkar ghaib third person masculine singular present tense. From wa'adha ya'idu, the verbal noun masdar is wa'adhan, that is to instruct, to advise. Kum is dhamir or pronoun second person plural. Wattaqullah, and you all safeguard, adopt taqwa, be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa is harf atf conjunction. Ittaqu is fi'l amr jama muzakkar hadar second person masculine plural imperative verb. From ittaqa yattaqi, the verbal noun masdar is ittiqa'un, that is to fear. Wa'lamu, and you all know. The root word is ain lam mim. I'lamu is fi'l amr jama muzakkar hadar the second person masculine plural imperative verb. From alima ya'lamu, the verbal noun masdar is ilman, that is to know. Inna allaha, indeed Allah. Anna is harf mushabba bil fi'l, particle resembling verb. Bi kulli, with all or every. Bi is harf jar preposition. Kulli is majroor, genitive noun, and mudaf, what is possessed. It means every. Shay'in, of things. It is mudaf ilay, possessor, meaning things. Alim is always all knower. It is an attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From verbal noun masdar ilmun, it is the phrase of magnification or mubalagha ka sigha. Wa idha, and when. Tallaqtum, you all divorced. An-nisa, the women. These were all covered previously. Fabalagna, so they reached. أجلهن, their appointed term. فلا, then do not. These were all explained earlier. تعضلوهن, you all stop or hinder them. The root word is ayn, the dad, lam. تعضلو is فعل مضارع جمع مذكر حاضر, second person masculine plural present tense. From أضل يضل, the verbal noun masdar is أضلا, that is to hinder. Hunna is dhamir or pronoun. أن ينكحن, that they females marry. Root word is noon, kaf, ha. It is فعل مضارع منصوب جمع مؤنث غائب, third person feminine plural present tense in subjunctive case. From nakaha yankihu, the verbal noun masdar is nikahan, that is to marry. Azwajahun, their spouses, husbands. Root word is za, waw, jim. Azwaj is mudaf, what is possessed. Its singular is zawjun or zawj. Hunna is the dhamir or pronoun for third person feminine plural. Idha taradaw, when they mutually approved or agreed. Root words is ra, da, dad, waw. It is fail madi jama muzakkar ghaib, third person masculine plural past tense. From taradda yataradda, taradda yataradda, the verbal noun masdar is taraddiyun, that is to approve, to agree. Bainahum, between them. Baina is mudaf, what is possessed. It means between. Hum is dhamir pronoun and mudaf ilayh is possessor. Bil ma'ruf, with or in manner, way, approved, recognized. Dhalika, that. Tu'adhu bih, he is admonished, instructor with it. Root word is waw, ayn, dha. Previously we covered ya'idukum, he admonishes or he instructs you all. Yu'adhu is fail mudari majhul, wahid muzakkar ghaib, third person masculine, singular passive present tense. From wa'adha ya'idu, the verbal noun masdar is wa'adhan, that is to instruct or to advise. Man kana, whoever he was. Kana is fail madi, kana is fail nakhis, madi, wahid muzakkar ghaib, third person masculine singular deficient past tense. From kana yakunu, the verbal noun masdar is kaunan, that is to be. Minkum, from among you all. Yu'minu billahi, he believes in Allah. The root word is hamza, mim, noon. From amana yu'minu, the verbal noun masdar is imanan. Amana yu'minu, the verbal noun masdar is imanan, which means to believe. Wal yawmil akhir, and the day, the last. Dhalikum, that, O you all. It is ism ishara, demonstrative noun. Kum is dhamir, pronoun for second person plural. Azka is purest. Root form is za, kaf, waw. From verbal noun masdar zakaun. It is afdalut tafdil, comparative and superlative. It is more clean, more pure for you all. Wa athhar, the cleanest. The root word is tahara. From verbal noun taharatun, it is sigha of afdal tafdil, comparative and superlative phrases. Wallahu, and Allah, ya'lamu, he knows. It is fail mudari wahid muzakkar ghaib, third person masculine singular present tense. Wa antum, and you all. It is the dhamir of jama muzakkar hadir, second person masculine plural pronoun. La ta'lamun, do not you all know. It is fail mudari manfi jama muzakkar hadir, second person masculine plural negative present tense. Wal walidatu, and those who give birth, that is mothers. Root word is waw, lam, dal. Its singular is walidatun. Yurdi'ana, they will suckle or nurse, breastfeed. Root word is ra, dad, ayn. It is fa'il mudari jama muannas ghaib, third person feminine plural present tense. From arada yuridu, from a'rada yu'ridu, the verbal noun masdar is i'radun, that is to nurse. أولادهن, their children. The root word is waw, lam, dal. أولاد is mudaf, what is possessed, its singular is waladun, hunna is dhamir or pronoun, third person plural. Hawlaini, 2 years, root word is ha, waw, lam, it is tasniya or dual, it is singular, its singular is hawlun. Kamilaini is to complete, it is ism fa'il tasniya muzakkar, masculine dual, doer, its singular is kamilun. لقول لمن أراد, for whom he wanted. Li is harf jar preposition. Man is ism mawsool relative pronoun. The root word of arada is ra, waw, dal. It is fi'l maadi, wahid, mudhakkar, ghaib, third person masculine, singular, past tense. From arada yuridu, the verbal noun masdar is iradatun, that is the wind. From arada yuridu, the verbal noun masdar is iradatun, that is to intend. Ain yutimma, that he completes, root word is ta, mim, mim. It is fi'l mudari mansub, wahid, mudhakkar, ghaib, third person masculine, singular, present tense in subjunctive case. From atamma yutimmu, the verbal noun masdar is itmam, itmaman, that is to complete. Ar-rada'a, the suckling period. Root words is ra, dal, ain. It is a masdar or verbal noun. Wa'ala, and is going on. Wa'ala, and is upon or on. Al-mawludi lahu, for him, the one who begot child, father. Al-mawludi is majroor, genitive noun. It is ism maf'ul, wahid, muzakkar, masculine, singular, passive particle from verbal noun masdar wiladatun, who is dhamir pronoun of third person singular. Rizquhunna, their women's, rizq, provisions of sustenance. Root word is ra, dal, qaf. Ra, za, qaf. Rizqu is mudaf, what is possessed, and hunna is dhamir pronoun of third person plural, feminine. Wakiswatuhunna, and their women's clothing. Root word is kaf, sin, waw. Kiswa is mudaf, what is possessed, and hunna is dhamir. Bil ma'rufi, in with or way, manner, approved, recognized. La tukallafu, not it or she will be burdened. It is fi'l mudari, majhul, manfi, wahid, muannas, ghaib, third person feminine, singular, negative, passive, present tense. From kallafa yukallifu, the verbal noun masdar is taklifan, that is to give trouble, to burden. Nafsun, any soul, illa wus'aha, except its or her capacity. The root word is waw, sin, ain. Wus'a is mudaf, what is possessed, and ism is a noun. He is dhamir, ha is dhamir, pronoun of third person singular, feminine. La tudarra, neither she is or will be harmed. The root word is dad, ra. It is fi'l mudari, majhul, manfi, wahid, muannas, ghaib, third person feminine, singular, negative, passive, present tense. From dara yudaru, the verbal noun masdar is mudarratun, that is to harm. Walidatun, mother, it is a singular, wahid. Biwaladiha, because of her child. Root word is waw, lam, dal. Waladihi is majroor and mudaf, genitive noun. What is possessed? It means child or son. Ha is dhamir or pronoun. Wala, and not. Mawludullah, for him, the father, the son, the father, and the one who begot the child. Root word is waw, lam, dal. Mawludun is ism maf'ul, passive particle. It means an infant. La is huruf jar, preposition in lahu at the end, and who is dhamir or pronoun. بِوَلَدِهِ because of his child. B is harf jar preposition. It's here because of a sabab, that is practice of reason. Waladi is majroor, genitive noun, and mudaf, what is possessed. It means child or son. He is damir pronoun. Wa and is upon al-warithi, the heir. The root word is waw, ra, sa. It is majroor, genitive noun, and ism ma'rifa, proper noun. Mithlu dhalik, like, some similar of that. Fa-in, then if. Arada, they too wanted or intended. We have discussed this previously. It is tasniya, dual. Fisalan, weaning. Root word is fa, sad, lam. It means to wean, to accustom a child to food other than mother's milk, or to separate one thing from another. The word fasl is also from the same root, which means to separate or to cut off, and the fasl, the crop, is also derived from the same root because it is also cut off once ripe. It is isme nakira, common noun. Antaradin, from, by mutual agreement. An is huruf jar preposition. The root word for taradin is ra, dal, waw, and it is majroor, genitive noun. Min huma, from them too. Min is harf jar preposition. Huma is majroor and damir of tasniya, genitive dual pronoun. Wa tashawur, and mutual consultation. Root word is sheen, waw, ra. It's similar to the word shora in Urdu, meaning many voices, shor. Similarly, voices are raised during mutual consultations. It is ism nakira, common noun. Fala junaha, they not or any sin, harm or blame. Alayhima, upon them too. Wa in, and if. They all have been explained previously. Arattum, you all wanted or intended. Root word is ra, waw, dal. It is fi'l madi, jama muzakkar hadar, second person masculine plural, past tense. From arada yuridu, the verbal noun masdar is iradatun, that is to intend. Because of in, the meaning is you all intend. Tastardi'u, that you seek suckling, wet nurse, foster mother. Root word is ra, dod, waw. It was actually tastardi'una. Because of an, the noun Arabi was dropped. It is fa'il mudari mansub jama muzakkar hadar. The first masculine, the person, the root word is ra, dal, waw. It was actually tastardi'una. Because of an, the noon Arabi was dropped. It is fi'l mudari mansub jama muzakkar hadar, second person masculine plural, present tense in subjunctive case. From istarda, yastardi'u, the verbal noun masdar is istirdaun, that is to seek suckling from a foster mother or wet nurse. Because of in, the meaning is you seek suckling. Awladakum, your children. Fala junaha, then not any sin, harm or blame. Alaykum is upon you. Ida sallamtum, when you all paid or submitted. Root word is seen, lam, mim. Sallamtum is fa'il madi, jama muzakkar, masculine plural, past tense. From sallama yusallimu, the verbal noun masdar is tasliman, that is to submit or to pay. Because of ida, the meaning is you submit. Ma ataytum, whatever you all gave. It is fi'l madi, jama muzakkar hadar, second person masculine plural, past tense. From ata yu'ti, the masdar verbal noun is ita'un, that means to give. Because of ida, the meaning is you give or gave. Bil ma'ruf, in or with manner, way, approved, recognized. Wattaqullah, you all safeguard, adopt. Taqwa, be conscious of Allah. Wa'alamu, and you all know. Anna Allah, that Allah. Anna is harf mushabbah bil fa'il, particle resembling verb. أن الله بما تعملون with whatever you do deeds. Be is harf jar preposition and ma is mausula relative pronoun. Basir, always all seeing. Root words is ba, sad, ra. From the verbal noun masdar basaratun, it's sift mushabbah bil fi'l. Resembling particle in terms of doer, meaning always all seeing. Now let's listen to the recitation of today's verses.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الطلاق مرتان فإمساك بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان ولا يحل لكم أن تأخذوا مما آتيتموهن شيئا إلا أن يخافا ألا يقيما حدود الله فإن خفتم ألا يقيما حدود الله فلا جناح عليهما فيما افتدت به تلك حدود الله فلا تعتدوها ومن يتعد حدود الله فأولئك هم الظالمون. فإن طلقها فلا تحل له من بعد حتى تنكح زوجا غيره فإن طلقها فلا جناح عليهما أن يتراجعا إن ظنا أن يقيما حدود الله وتلك حدود الله يبينها لقوم يعلمون. وإذا طلقتم النساء فبلغن أجلهن فأمسكوهن بمعروف أو سرحوهن بمعروف ولا تمسكوهن ضرارا لتعتدوا ومن يفعل ذلك فقد ظلم نفسه ولا تتخذوا آيات الله هزوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم وما أنزل عليكم من الكتاب والحكمة يعظكم به واتقوا الله واعلموا أن الله بكل شيء عليم. وإذا طلقتم النساء فبلغن أجلهن فلا تعضلوهن أن ينكحن أزواجهن إذا تراضوا بينهم بالمعروف ذلك يوعظ به من كان منكم يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر ذلكم أزكى لكم وأطهر والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون. والوالدات يرضعن أولادهن حولين كاملين لمن أراد أن يتم الرضاعة وعلى المولود له رزقهن وكسوتهن بالمعروف لا تكلف نفس إلا وسعها لا تضار والدة بولدها ولا مولود له بولده وعلى الوارث مثل ذلك فإن أرادا فصالا عن تراض منهما وتشاور فلا جناح عليهما. وإن أردتم أن تسترضعوا أولادكم فلا جناح عليكم إذا سلمتم ما آتيتم بالمعروف واتقوا الله واعلموا أن الله بما تعملون بصير.
Tafseer. Now let us begin the tafsir. Meaning and tafsir of Surah Al-Baqarah verses 229 to 233. Tafseer of verse number 229. Arabic verse. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. الطلاق مرتان فإمساكم بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان ولا يحل لكم أن تأخذوا مما آتيتموهن شيئا إلا أن يخافا ألا يقيما حدود الله فإن خفتم ألا يقيما حدود الله فلا جناح عليهما فيما افتدت به تلك حدود الله فلا تعتدوها ومن يتعد حدود الله فأولئك هم الظالمون. Translation. The pronouncement of revocable divorce is only allowed twice. Then she should be allowed to stay with honor or let go with kindness after the third pronouncement. It is not lawful for husbands to take anything back which they have given them, except when both parties fear that they may not be able to follow the limits set by Allah. Then, if you fear that they both will not be able to keep the limits of Allah, there is no blame if by mutual agreement the wife compensates the husband to obtain divorce. These are the limits set by Allah. Do not transgress them, and those who transgress the limits of Allah are the wrongdoers. Tafseer. At-talaqu marratan. Divorce is twice. Here the method of divorce has been explained. From these ayah, we learn that there are two types of divorce. Number 1, talaq raj'i, revocable divorce. And number 2, ba'in divorce, non-revocable divorce. Raj'i divorce or revocable divorce. First two divorce are raj'i, meaning that husband can come to the wife without going through nikah again. Let's explain. Raj'i divorce. In this type of divorce, the husband in the state of purity would give divorce to the wife, but then within 3 months, which is roughly 3 menstrual periods time, establish his relationship with his wife. Then it would be first raj'i divorce. Then after some time, he again divorced in the state of purity, but again established his relationship with his wife during the period of 3 months or 3 menstrual periods time. It would be the second raj'i divorce. Now, if husband again divorces the wife the next time, it would not be possible to establish a relationship with wife. It would be ba'in divorce. That's why husband should divorce wife only twice, as there is a chance of reconciliation. Divorce is only twice because after the first two divorce, husband and wife can reconcile within the 3 months period if they want to. There is still a chance to reconcile even after the 3 months period. After this period, they can still remarry. They would have to do nikah again. فَإِمْسَاكُمْ بِمَعْرُوفٍ. Then the husband must retain his wife with honor or separate from her with grace. In this ayah, husband is advised that after first or second raj'i divorce, if you want to get back together with your wife, reconcile and take her back with respect and love, and spend your life with love and respect, the wife must not feel that you have only brought her back to humiliate, to disrespect, and to torture her. She should feel respected. How can it be achieved? It's only possible if, before the reconciliation, both husband and wife's intentions are pure and they have fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their hearts. Only then a human being deals with matters in their life fairly and according to the Quran and Sunnah. Then it is said, if you do not want to live together, then what to do? أو تسريح بإحسان, or separate from her with favorable behavior. With ihsan, meaning if you do not have in your heart to reconcile, then part from each other with the same beautiful manners like when you got married. Let's see what can be done on a separation with favorable behavior. To divorce, first raj'i divorce with a clean and pure state of body and mind, then wait for 3 menstrual periods without reconciliation. Let the 3 months pass, and then after 3 months the divorce is complete. Now both husband and wife should not speak ill of each other. They should not advertise each other's weaknesses and shortcomings. Usually husband spreads rumors about his wife so no one would marry her. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, fear Allah and separate from her with respect. Let's review allowed forms of divorce, but before we look into those, we should review some issues and problems in divorce. Number 1. It is forbidden to divorce a woman during a menstrual cycle. If husband and wife quarrel during the menstrual cycle and he decides to divorce her, then he should not divorce her but wait for the menstrual cycle to end, because this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's order. The wisdom behind this is that during the menstrual cycle, the woman is in a state of illness. Her hormones are not in normal state. She can get angry and she cannot control her emotions. She is irritable due to her state of fragility. Number 2. When husband divorces his wife in a state of purity, tahur, then in this tahur, to establish a relationship with the wife is not allowed. What is tuhur? Let's try to explain. Tuhur is a period of time when a woman is not in her menstrual cycle. These are the days when a woman is in a state of purity. Number 3. One divorce should be given at a time. To divorce 3 times together is a big sin. Number 4. To be separated from a wife, there is a maximum of 3 divorces, but the best way is which is prescribed by the Sharia is to divorce only once. If the way of Sharia is to divorce only once, then why there is a need for second and third divorce? Number 5. First divorce is the prescribed way for divorce. If divorce is first, second, or third on every husband If divorce is first, second, or third on every divorce, husband and wives have to wait for 3 menstrual cycles. Each cycle lasts for 3 months. This period is called iddah. Number 6. In Raj'i divorce, before the period of iddah is completed, if husband reconciles, it is called rujur. To reconcile, it's not necessary to establish the sexual relationship with wife. Husband can verbally express the wish to reconcile. Many a times, husbands are away or abroad, so cannot physically be present. He can express his remorse and the wish to reconcile over the phone. Number 7. After the first and the second divorce, the period of 3 months is for the reason that the husband can reconcile in this period of iddah. This is the reason that the wife has to stay at the husband's house. That's why the first 2 divorces are called Raj'i divorce. After the third divorce, husband no longer has the right to reconcile. This time, after divorce, the separation is applied straight away. The third divorce is called Bain, means the divorce which would separate husband and wife forever. Number 8. After the first 2 divorces, during the period of iddah, it's not necessary to obtain the consent from the wife, meaning the husband can reconcile even if the wife does not wish to be reconciled. Number 9. After Raj'i divorce, during the iddah period, wife should stay in husband's house and her monthly expense, nafqa, should be given to her as before. Number 10. One thing should be understood that divorcing 3 times, meaning divorcing once every month, is not a correct way to divorce. According to Sharia law, 1 divorce would be given, iddah would be completed, then second divorce. If someone wants to give, can do, but the most likable way according to Sharia law is to divorce once, and that should be the divorce after the period of iddah. We should try and understand once more the 3 Sharia acceptable ways to divorce. Number 1. Separation with first divorce. After the nikah, in the state of purity, tuhur, without having sexual relationship, the husband gives first divorce and does not reconcile during the 3 months of iddah, and iddah finishes. Now the divorce is complete, meaning the wife can remarry to someone else, or if she wishes, can marry to the previous husband. In this process, there is no need for a second and third divorce. In the period of iddah, the wife would stay at husband's house and he would provide her monthly expenses, nafqa. This is the benefit of 1 divorce, that husband or wife can reconcile at any time during the period of iddah. Number 2. Separation with second divorce. In this type of divorce, the husband would divorce the wife in the state of purity and without establishing sexual relations. Then during the iddah period, he would reconcile. But after this, if the husband divorces the wife, this would be any time after few days, few months, few years. This would also be in the state of in the state of purity, and this would be counted as second divorce. Like the first divorce, the second divorce would also be rajai divorce. Husband can still reconcile during the iddah period. If he does not reconcile in the iddah period, then this would be the final divorce. This divorce was also a rajai divorce, so the husband and wife can remarry at any time. Number 3, separation with third divorce. With this type of divorce, the husband would divorce first time the wife in the state of purity, tuhur. This would be the rajai divorce. So if he would reconcile, then after some time divorce again, this would be second rajai divorce. So if husband reconciles during iddah time, then this would be the second divorce. Now if he divorces again, this would be the third divorce, and this is not rajai divorce, it is bain divorce. So after this divorce, there is no reconciliation. After the third divorce, the husband cannot reconcile. First and second divorces are rajai divorce, where reconciliation is possible within the iddah period without the need for remarrying. But third divorce is bain divorce. After this divorce, husband cannot reconcile, and husband and wife would be separated. After the third divorce, the wife would have to complete the iddah. Then she can marry someone else, but she cannot marry previous husband. The only option to remarry previous husband is halala. ولا يحل لكم أن تأخذوا مما آتيتموهن شيئا إلا أن يخافا ألا يقيما حدود الله. Translation: It is not lawful for husbands to take back anything of the dowry given to their wives unless the couple fears not being able to keep within the limits of Allah. It is said that due to the unfavorable circumstances they came to the divorce. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that although it is an unpleasant decision, but complete it in the best ways. وَلَا يَحِلُّ لَكُمْ, and it is not lawful for you. Now that you have divorced her, it's not lawful that you take anything back from her dowry or any gift you had given her, meaning that the husband divorced his wife, he cannot take her dowry meher back from her, nor he can ask her to excuse him for the dowry meher. Husband cannot take her clothes, jewelry, or any of her belongings. Same is with any gift he had given to her. In a hadith, it's said that it's like a dog vomits and eats it back. It would be a shameful act if the husband asks wife to return whatever he has given her during his married life. Islam teaches us that after the divorce, when she leaves her husband's house, husband should give her something as a gesture of respect at that time. إلا أن يخافا ألا يقيما حدود الله. But if husband and wife are worried that they would not be able to keep to the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they would not be able to establish pleasant relationship, and they would not be able to complete obligatory duties, in this situation, it would be better for them to separate from each other. For this, husband would divorce his wife due to fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as if they would stay together and in anger saying some things to each other, then becoming fearful that they would be punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for cursing each other, and they might end up in even a bad situation due to Allah's anger. Also, it's better to part from each other than being in the situation where husband and wife are always fighting and cursing each other. When it's decided to give a divorce, then all the matters should be dealt according to the Sharia law, and having the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Divorce should also be given having fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in hearts. One should also be fearful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's disobedience at every step. إلا أن يخافا ألا يقيما حدود الله فإن خفتم ألا يقيما حدود الله فلا جناح عليهما فيما افتدت به. Then, if you fear that they both would not be able to keep within the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then if women can give some compensation to get separation from her husband, Here is the mention of khula. This is applicable if both are thinking that they would not be able to deliver their duties and obtain their rights. If the wife wants to get separation from her husband, then she can get the khula, but for this she would have to leave the right on his dowry meher. If she has not got dowry meher yet from her husband, then she would have to leave her right to obtain dowry or meher from her husband. Meaning, if the wife wants separation, both husband and wife should decide the amount mutually. In this matter, mutual agreement is necessary, meaning the husband would take back the dowry given to the wife or any other gift on which they both have agreed upon. Then the husband gives divorce, and this would be bind divorce. It means that the wife took khula from her husband. In Bukhari, Abdullah ibn Abbas says, Thabit bin Qais's wife Jamila, who was the sister of the hypocrite Abdullah ibn Abi, came to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I do not want to put any blame of deen or morals upon my husband, but I do not think that being a Muslim I should engage in sin of disobedience of my husband. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, okay, would you return the garden which Thabit radhiyallahu anhu gifted you in dowry? She replied, yes, I would give it back. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Thabit, take your garden back and divorce her. We should understand this gift could be the amount of dowry or could be less or more as well. And if husband and wife could not agree on anything, then the woman can go to the court. The court will then decide according to the circumstances and would grant the divorce. تلك حدود الله فلا تعتدوها ومن يتعد حدود الله فأولئك هم الظالمون. These are the limits set by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so do not transgress. To the people who transgress Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's limits, those are the wrongdoers. These are the limits set by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whoever would cross these limits would be the wrongdoer. We get this message from a hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that if a woman takes khula without any solid reason, would not be able to smell the fragrance of Jannah. Khula is done with one divorce. It allows complete separation, and the period of iddah is 1 month. After 1 month, she can marry another man. But if the husband would not agree to divorce, means if the woman wants divorce but husband is not willing to do so, then the Sharia court can order to finish the marriage contract. Tirmizi 94. Hazrat Thuban Raziallahu anhu said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, women who demand khula without a reason are hypocrites. Same in Hakim 999. Hazrat Abdullah ibn Umar Raziallahu anhu says, it is a big sin to sign a marriage contract, marry a woman, when he gets what he wants, he divorces his wife. Tafseer of verse number 213. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فإن طلقها فلا تحل له من بعد حتى تنكح زوجا غيره فإن طلقها فلا جناح عليهما أن يتراجعا إن ظنا أن يقيما حدود الله وَتِلْكَ حُدُودُ اللَّهِ يُبَيِّنُهَا لِقَوْمٍ يَعْلَمُونَ. Translation. So if a husband divorces his wife 3 times, it is not lawful for him to remarry her until after she has married another man and gotten divorced. In that case, there is no blame on either of them if they reunite in marriage, provided they think that they can keep the limits of Allah. Such are the limits of Allah, which He makes clear to the people of understanding. Tafseer. This verse mentions halala. Firstly, it stated فَإِن طَلَّقَ. So if a husband divorces his wife, here it means that when he divorces her 3 times, it was explained previously that there is no option of reconciliation after the 3rd divorce, and now it is also not possible to renew marriage vows or tajdeed nikah. Now this woman is only permissible for her ex-husband in one condition, which is halala. Therefore it is said تحل له من بعد حتى تنكح زوجا غيره ولا تحل له من بعد حتى تنكح زوجا غيره. It is not lawful for this woman to marry her ex-husband after the 3rd divorce until after she has married another man. فإن طلقها فلا جناح عليهما أن يتراجعا, and she gets divorced from her current husband, in that case there is no blame on either of them, that is the woman and her ex-spouse, if they reunite in marriage after observing the iddah. Now for this second marriage they are being given a condition so that they do not repeat the previous scenario. Provided they think that they can keep the limits of Allah, that they will not repeat the same mistakes and will abide by the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If this is the will and intention, then they can remarry. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَتِلْكَ حُدُودُ اللَّهِ يُبَيِّنُهَا لِقَوْمٍ يَعْلَمُونَ. Such are the limits of Allah which He makes clear to the people of understanding, the people who have knowledge and consciousness that these limits are set for their benefit. Now let us further understand what halala is in the light of hadith. You have understood that in case of the third divorce there is no option of reconciliation except for halala, which is not pre-planned, premeditated. We learn this from hadith, that if a man divorces his wife for the third time and then to make her lawful for him again, he gets her married to another man under the condition that he will divorce her on the second or third day of marriage, and after this halala she will remarry her ex-husband. Such pre-planned halala is not correct. According to hadith, it is fornication or adultery. Such premeditated nikah and divorces, so a woman becomes lawful for her first husband, we are being told that it is not permissible and will not be halal. Prophet ﷺ said that Allah's curse is on the one who makes a contract or agreement for halala, both the one who carries out halala and the one who it is done for, that is both the husband and the man hired for this purpose and anyone else involved in this conspiracy are all cursed. The man hired for this purpose is likened to a bull for hire, according to Abu Dawud Kitab al-Nikah. It is reported in Bayhaqi 337 Sa'ad 7 that Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu ordered that both the one who carries out halala and the one who it is done for be punished for zina, adultery. It is such an unfortunate thing that a man is guilty of divorcing 3 times, but the woman is punished for his action in the form of nikah halal. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable all of us to have a correct understanding of the religion and to act accordingly. Ameen. Tafseer of verse number 231. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وإذا طلقتم النساء فبلغن أجلهن فأمسكوهن بمعروف أو سرحوهن بمعروف ولا تمسكوهن ضرارا لتعتدوا ومن يفعل ذلك فقد ظلم نفسه ولا تتخذوا آيات الله هزوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم وما أنزل عليكم من الكتاب والحكمة يعظكم به واتقوا الله واعلموا أن الله بكل شيء عليم. Translation: When you divorce women and they have reached the end of their waiting period, either allow them to stay with honor or let them go with kindness, but you should not retain them to harm them or to take undue advantage. If anyone does that, he wrongs his own soul. Do not take Allah's revelations as a joke. Remember the favors of Allah upon you and the fact that He sent down the book and wisdom for your guidance. Fear Allah and know that Allah has knowledge of everything. Tafseer: In this verse, the third command regarding a divorced woman is given. It's being said that وَإِذَا طَلَّقْتُمُ النِّسَاءَ, and when you divorce women. Here talaq raj'i, revocable divorce, is being mentioned. The first 2 divorces, which are revocable because one can do ruju, that is the husband may take back his wife during the period of waiting iddah, or once the waiting period or iddah has passed, they can renew the nikah or marriage contract. Further, it is said فَبَلَغْنَ أَجَلَهُنَّ, and they have reached the end of their waiting period iddah. It means that when one has given 1 or 2 divorces and then the waiting period reaches its end, then you have only 2 options left. The first option is فَأَمْسِكُوهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ. Either allow them to stay with honor, take them back happily, and keep them with dignity. Or the second option is أَوْ سَرِّحُوهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ, or let them go with kindness. Deal with them with goodness and honor without creating conflict and arguments, and let them go with dignity and bearing gifts. It was discussed in detail in verse 229. Then it is said, وَلَا تُمْسِكُوهُنَّ ضِرَارًا لِتَعْتَدُوا. So, وَلَا تُمْسِكُوهُنَّ, do not retain them, stop them. Why? For what purpose? ضِرَارًا لِتَعْتَدُوا, so that you may harm them or take undue advantage of them. That is, do not keep them in your possession just for the purpose of hurting and exploiting them. Only take them back with the intention of settling down amicably and not for tormenting, confining, and harassing them. As it was done in the ancient culture, women were divorced hundreds of times and then it was revoked again and again. They had made a game out of it. Now it is said that whoever does so, وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ فَقَدْ ظَلَمَ نَفْسَهُ, if anyone does that, he wrongs his own soul. That is, whoever retains his wife unjustly to mistreat her is only harming himself. He will himself bear the consequences of this persecution. وَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا آيَاتِ اللَّهِ هُزُوًا. Do not take Allah's revelations as a joke, meaning do not make fun of Allah's verses and make lightly His orders. Instead, be serious about the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, act according to them and do not defy them. Hazrat Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh reported, a person divorced his wife and later said, I was just joking. Hence this verse was revealed and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam declared that the divorce had taken place. So if a divorce happens, even if it's done jokingly, Hasan Basri rahmatullahi alayhi says that people would divorce, then renew nikah and say we were just amusing ourselves. Further, the verse states, وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ وَمَا أَنزَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ وَالْحِكْمَةِ يَعِظُكُمْ بِهِ. Remember the favors of Allah upon you and the fact that He sent down the book and wisdom for your guidance. One should not forget the mercy and favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon them. He has blessed mankind with uncountable blessings and favors, and the greatest blessing of them all is the blessing of Hidayah, guidance. He sent many prophets and divine revelations and books for our guidance. He gave commands in these books and taught us wisdom, told us what is beneficial and what is not in this world and the hereafter. The verse states in the end, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. Fear Allah and know that Allah has knowledge of everything. That is, deal with every matter fearing Allah and knowing that Allah is watching. The Kiram and Katibin are writing down everything, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always all-knowing. So we are being told to take every action according to the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and only trust and rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do everything only for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Refrain from everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden, lest His wrath descends upon you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to follow it in the best way. Ameen. Tafseer of verse number 232. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وإذا طلقتم النساء فبلغن أجلهن فلا تعضلوهن أن ينكحن أزواجهن إذا تراضوا بينهم بالمعروف. ذلك يوعظ به من كان منكم يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر. ذلكم أزكى لكم وأطهر والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون. Translation: When you have divorced women and they have reached the end of their waiting period, do not prevent them from marrying their prospective husbands if they have come to an honorable agreement. This is enjoined on everyone amongst you who believes in Allah and the last day. This is more virtuous and chaste for you. Allah knows what you do not know. Tafseer. This verse is talking about the situation where only 2 divorces has been given. The first 2 divorces are revocable. It is being said that be it the first or second divorce, if the husband doesn't reconcile during the waiting period, then it becomes talaq, irrevocable divorce. Now, in this situation, if the spouses want to remarry, they can do so, and the woman is also allowed to marry anyone else if she desires. Therefore, it said, وَإِذَا طَلَّقْتُمُ النِّسَاءَ, when you have divorced women. Here, the first or second divorce is meant because they are revocable divorce, talaq raj'i. فَبَلَغْنَ أَجَلَهُنَّ, and they have reached the end of their waiting period. فَلَا تَعْضُلُوهُنَّ أَن يَنكِحْنَ أَزْوَاجَهُنَّ, do not prevent them from marrying their husbands. إِذَا تَرَاضَوْا بَيْنَهُمْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, if they have come to an honorable agreement. So when a woman has reached the end of waiting period after the first or second divorce and her husband has not reconciled, then the divorce changes to talaq bain, and now she is free to marry whoever. فَلَا تَعْضُلُوهُنَّ, do not stop them from what? أَن يَنكِحْنَ, from marrying their husbands. So if their previous husbands want to reconcile honorably and the woman also agrees, then they should not be prevented from recycling. Who should stop them? Usually it's the woman's family, her father, brothers or other relatives. So they are being told to not stop her. Because the first husband is more rightful to take her back, they might have children together. So as long as the woman willingly agrees, she shouldn't be stopped. An incident took place in the times of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, where the husband and wife wanted to reconcile after divorce, but the woman's brother refused. Hence, this verse was revealed. Even nowadays in our culture, the woman's family refuses, citing their loss of honor. Here, we find out that a woman cannot arrange her marriage by herself. She needs permission from her wali, guardian. However, the wali cannot forcibly get her married against her wish. The guardian is not allowed to do that. Shariat has given women the right that if she was forced into marriage, she can appeal in court to annul it. Similarly, if a woman marries without the consent of a wali, then that is also not correct. This verse also says that if a woman wants to marry someone else, then her previous spouse and her family should not prevent her from it, because she is free now and her previous spouse has no right to stop her from pursuing a second marriage. How are women prevented from it? By falsely blaming, accusing her, or by advertising her shortcomings or mistakes to prospective spouses to deter and discourage them. Sometimes the women are harassed and retained with grave consequences if they pursue a second marriage. The verse further states, ذَلِكَ يُوعَظُ بِهِ مَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. This is enjoined on everyone amongst you who believes in Allah and the last day. You are being guided by these commands, but who benefits from these guidance? The one who believes in Allah and the day of judgment. Only the one who fears Allah acts upon those commands. The one who worries about accountability in the hereafter. ذَلِكُمْ أَزْكَى لَكُمْ وَأَطْهَرُ. This is more virtuous and chaste for you. This is a more righteous way that you follow the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and avoid disobedience. Wallahu ya'lamu wa antum la ta'lamun. Allah knows what you do not know, because Allah knows what's beneficial for you and you are not aware. We don't know or understand the wisdom behind Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's order. The purity of the society is in a woman's marriage and not in her remaining unmarried. And the virtue is greater in a woman's marriage to her previous husband than marrying elsewhere. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows it all and man is unaware. So it's better to follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's commands. Tafseer of verse number 233. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم والوالدات يرضعن أولادهن حولين كاملين لمن أراد أن يتم الرضاعة وعلى المولود له رزقهن وكسوتهن بالمعروف لا تكلف نفس إلا وسعها لا تضار والدة بولدها ولا مولود له بولده وعلى الوارث مثل ذلك فإن أرادا فصالا عن تراض منهما وتشاور فلا جناح عليهما وإن أردتم أن تسترضعوا أولادكم فلا جناح عليكم إذا سلمتم ما آتيتم بالمعروف واتقوا الله واعلموا أن الله بما تعملون بصير. Translation: The mothers shall breastfeed their offspring for 2 whole years. If the father wishes the breastfeeding to be completed, the reasonable cost of their maintenance and clothing will be the responsibility of the child's father. No one should be charged with more than they can afford. Neither a mother should be made to suffer on account of her child, nor a father on account of his child. The father's heirs are under the same obligation, but if, with mutual agreement, they both decide to wean the child, there is no blame on them. If you decide to have a foster mother for your offspring, there is no blame on you, provided you pay what you have promised to pay in an honorable manner. Fear Allah and beware that Allah observes your actions. Tafseer: Here the commands about nursing a child have come among the verses of divorce. Why? Because the issue of nursing a child is also one of many reasons for the spouses' conflicts. This verse talks about the women who are already divorced and also those who are in or have finished the iddat, prescribed waiting period, and those that are still married to the child's father. Firstly, it said, وَالْوَالِدَاتُ يُرْضِعَنَ أَوْلَادَهُنَّ The mothers shall breastfeed their offspring. حولين كاملين for 2 whole years. لمن أراد أن يتم الرضاعة if the father wishes the breastfeeding to be completed. One problem faced during nursing is determining the duration. So if one wishes to nurse for the complete duration, then they must nurse the child for 2 whole years. After this, the child must be weaned off of breastfeeding. Here we find out a few other things, such as the maximum duration for nursing is 2 years, and it should be determined according to the lunar calendar. Similarly, one can nurse for less than 2 years, as it is not obligated by the Sharia to complete 2 years. One can wean sooner if desired due to any reason. If one nurses a child in these 2 years only, then rada'at is proven and the milk kinships are formed. In other words, the wet nurse is like a mother and her children become the nursed child's milk siblings, same as real siblings, and are prohibited from marrying each other. It is narrated in Sahih Bukhari that which becomes haram due to consanguinity becomes haram due to rada'at, nursing. It is also said that breastfeeding a child after 2 years of age can cause physical and mental harm. Once Hazrat Al-Alqama saw a woman nursing a child over the age of 2. He said, parents can wean at any time within 2 years with mutual consent. There is nothing wrong in it. It is further stated in the verse, وَعَلَى الْمَوْلُودِ لَهُ رِزْقُهُنَّ وَكِسْوَتُهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ The reasonable cost of their maintenance and clothing will be the responsibility of the child's father. Here, we are being told that it is the responsibility of the husband, the child's father, to bear the cost of the nursing mother's food and clothing. If they are still married, then it is his responsibility due to the nikah, and if they are divorced, then the mother is obligated to nurse the child while in adda, the waiting period, and during this time her maintenance is the responsibility of the husband who divorced her. Once the iddah finishes, the father's obligation to bear her cost also finishes. But if she continues to nurse the child, then she can demand compensation from the child's father. So if the woman continues to nurse the child after divorce, the cost of her food, clothing, and other necessities is the responsibility of the child's father. In case the husband passes away, then it will be the responsibility of his heirs. It is further stated in the verse, لا تكلف نفس إلا وسعها. No one should be charged with more than they can afford. لا تضار والدة بولدها ولا مولود له بولده. Neither a mother should be made to suffer on account of her child, nor a father on account of his child. It is a great blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that no one is burdened more than their capacity. We are being told here to not trouble anyone unnecessarily, not to burden more than their capacity, and not to take undue advantage of someone's compulsion. Therefore, the mother should not be harassed because of a child or compelled to nurse, but not compensated for it. If the mother desires to feed the child, then the father should let her do so and not separate the child from her to have him nursed elsewhere, which would cause the mother to be concerned. And he should not be miserly in providing her maintenance either. Similarly, the child's father should not be troubled because of the child. For example, demanding maintenance more than he can afford. This demand should not be made by the woman or her heirs on her behalf. She should also not refuse to nurse the child unnecessarily. This will cause the father undue suffering. It is further said, وَعَلَى الْوَارِثِ مِثْلُ ذَلِكَ. If the father dies, then the father's heirs are under the same obligation. The nursing child himself is his father's heir, but of course there are other heirs as well, so it is the responsibility of the deceased's closest male family member to take care of the costs of the mother's maintenance. That is, after the death of the father, the responsibility related to nursing the child will be inherited by his heirs. فإن أرادا فصالا عن تراض منهما وتشاور فلا جناح عليهما. But if with mutual agreement they both decide to wean the child, there is no blame on them. Here the permission is being given to have the child nursed by someone other than the mother, and a reasonable compensation will be given for this according to custom. This can happen while the parents are still married and not just in case of divorce. If due to some justifiable reason the mother cannot divorce, such as in case of sickness, if due to some justifiable reason the mother cannot nurse, such as in case of sickness where the milk might not be suitable for the child, or the mother is pregnant again or is unable to produce milk, then the child can be weaned before the 2 years are up without any blame on either of the parents. وَإِنْ أَرَدْتُمْ أَن تَسْتَرْضِعُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْكُمْ. If you decide to have a foster mother for your offspring, there is no blame on you. إِذَا سَلَّمْتُمْ مَا آتَيْتُمْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, provided you pay what you have promised to pay in an honorable manner. It means the wet nurse should be paid according to custom. The best way is to agree upon the compensation beforehand so there is no conflict later, and the other meaning is that the maintenance agreed upon for the mother should not be reduced due to the compensation made to the wet nurse. If the right of either one of them is reduced, it will be a violation of Allah's orders and one will have to bear the consequences. واتقوا الله واعلموا أن الله بما تعملون بصير. It is further said, fear Allah and beware that Allah observes your actions. Why is this said in the end? Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so we know that Allah is aware of all our open and hidden, visible and invisible deeds. He knows and sees all the hidden and obvious intentions in your hearts. If either one of the husband and wives disobeys any of the commands related to nursing and makes decisions that hurt the child, then remember that Allah is also seeing and He has the power over everything. The lesson here for us is that we should do everything with the fear of Allah, knowing that He is ever present and that we can be punished for our misdoings in this world and surely in the hereafter. It will be a great loss for that It will be a great loss that we will suffer here as well as in the Akhirah. May Allah enable us to make the right decisions and do justice. Recap. Now let us see what all we have learned from today's verses for our actions. Verse 229. Divorce is only 2 times. After this, one has 2 options. Reconcile. The wife should be kept with respect according to the custom. Not reconcile. That is, let the period of iddah complete and then let go in an honorable manner. The first 2 divorces are raj'i, that is revocable, and one can reconcile without having to renew the marriage vows. Tajdid nikah. Talaq or divorce should be given in the masnoon way, that is in the state of purity, tuhur, and then letting the iddah of 3 menstrual cycles complete. This is the first divorce. If one reconciles after the first divorce, but again at another time divorces in the state of purity for the second time, and reconciles, then this is the second divorce. Now, if he divorces for the third time, it will be talaq bain. One cannot reconcile after this. It is not permissible to take any jewelry or money back from the wife after divorce. Verse 230. There is no reconciliation and renewing of nikah after the third divorce. Now, nikah is only possible in the case of halala. The halala should not be planned or under a premeditated conspiracy. Verse number 231. The commands of Allah Ta'ala should be followed seriously and not be made a spectacle of. Therefore, one should acquire the knowledge of Quran and Hadith with a pure heart and then obey every command and convey them to others as well. Verse number 232. Women should be given a freedom to choose where they want to marry once divorced. They should not be prohibited. If they desire to reconcile with their ex-husbands, that is in case of 2 divorces, then they should not be stopped. Verse number 233. Parents with mutual consent are allowed to wean their children before 2 years. If there is an issue, then a wet nurse can be used for feeding the child while compensating her justly and fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If the wife is nursing the child, then the husband should bear the cost of food, clothing, and living expenses. Either one of them should not take advantage of the other's compulsions. The best way is to do everything with the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, knowing that He is ever present and all seeing. One can be punished in the world, and the punishment of the hereafter is extremely severe. May Allah enable us to make the right decisions and do justice. Ameen. Ya Rab. Homework. Please do note today's homework. Question number 1. Write down the translation, root words and singular plural from today's verses. Number 2. For the following root words, write down the past tense fi'l madi, present tense fi'l mudari, and verbal noun masdar in Bab-e-If'aalun. Fa ain lam, qaf ba lam, sin lam mim, ka kha ra jim, noon ra lam, dal kha lam. Question number 3. What is the masnoon way of giving divorce? Question number 4. What is halala? Please explain in the light of hadith a planned or premeditated halala from verse number 230. Question number 5. وَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا آيَاتِ اللَّهِ هُزُوًا. Do not take Allah's revelations as a joke. What does it mean? Please explain from verse 231. Question number 6. فَلَا تَعَدُلُوهُنَّ أَن يَنكِحْنَ أَزْوَاجَهُنَّ. Do not prevent them from marrying their prospective husbands. Please explain carefully from verse number 232. Question number 7. Please list any comments from verse number 233. Please list any 4 commands from verse 233. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us all to do the best deeds. Take care of yourselves. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.